to all reasonable people, and to those who are not people as well. Today I have my very good friend, comrade, like-minded person. I sometimes talk about him. I say, he is our Grey Cardinal, a very modest person, Dr. Oleg Pritula. How is that?
Pritula.
Pritula, yes. Oleg Pritula. He is famous, but very modest, a very quiet person. He indeed started all the technology with implants in Ukraine. That's why all these beautiful Ukrainian teeth and smiles are thanks to this person, Oleg. Oleg does a lot. There was a significant contribution to Trump's victory in this election. He was also the first person who came out with his family on January 1st, 1923, in front of the White House. Weapons for Ukraine implementation of Lend-Lease. That is, later we got involved in all of this, and there was also Yura Podvalny, and all the others, Andrei Nikolaevich Lyryanov, and me, and Andrei Azarkin, and many of us. But the father of the founder of this was Oleg, Dr. Pritula. That's why we decided to talk to him, because I still wanted people to see our hero, our Grey Cardinal, who is in our team and gives a lot of good, wise advice. Well, as I said, he is a very modest person. He is not a conversational genre actor, but still, Oleg, I would like to thank you immensely for your friendship, for your help over the years, and for being so actively involved in all of this. But what would you like to say? What would you like our listeners, our friends, comrades, fighters for all of this, your Ukrainians, fellow countrymen, and Americans, to hear?
Well, first of all, to congratulate on a great victory. I would also like to thank Yura because he is such a titan that he can endure going on air every day for 8 years. Of course, you need to have a strong nervous system. I'm telling you this as a doctor. To help? Yes, yes. Well, now it can almost be considered a new starting point in the world, because over the last 120 years, the world has slowly progressed step by step, moved towards communism, which I think from this moment we will certainly turn around and set everything right. Because even if you look at taxes, the first tax was on the profits of Builder Olson in 1913 at 1%. Before that, there was no tax in America at all. And then, year after year, the government keeps increasing. The number of officials grows, and this eventually leads to World War I, then to World War II. And it turns out, in principle, humanity lost 100 million people because of socialism. And if the world had moved a little differently, and there were none of these abnormal communist ideas, I think we would already have thousands of Elon Musks, not just one, as we do now.
If warriors did not kill such people as well.
Well, they kill as a rule better.
Well, yes. Oleg, what do you think? You are talking about victory that, well, victory is such for now, a temporary one. We still have to work hard and diligently for a real victory, because right now the Almighty has given us a chance for victory, an opportunity for us to transition from defense to offense. And we must not lose the moment. We must not lose the initiative and already engage. Well, I always said that we would still walk around on the weekend. Now Oleg and I will drive in a Humvee with a huge American flag, Ukrainian flag, Israeli flag, and Trump flag. And now we will be cruising around Miami. But I think that after the weekend, we need to get back to work, to strong work. But as far as I understand, you told me that Trump has already started working. His celebration is over. Tell me, what has he done?
Well, Trump practically started doing real work in the first few days. The first thing he did was give a speech. You can watch it on YouTube, by the way. It's available in Russian. And he announced 10 very important points from Trump on the destruction of the deep state.
So we have seized the deep state and we claim our democracy from Washington corrupt once and for all. And corruption it is.
I will go through the points. Perhaps Yura will comment. The first of them is issuing a decree on the president's powers for the unhindered process of firing bureaucrats. They will act firmly and aggressively.
Yes, because actually this already exists. It is in American law that the president has the right to fire any official at will, without explanation, without any, also officers, military officers. We serve at the will of the president. That is, at any time he can say thank you, goodbye. Therefore, I think he will start to cleanse these bureaucrats, the freeloaders, our ranks, which have just multiplied like some kind of infection.
The second point, the national intelligence and security agencies will be reviewed, and many of them will be closed. How many do we have?
17. But the thing is that they have militarized them, that they have started to work for the power.
The deep state.
On the deep state, they have become like there. In Cuba, in Russia, in Venezuela, in dictatorial countries, they protect the power from us. And what they invented with Hunter Biden's computer is that it was a disinformation campaign by Russian intelligence, the GRU. But in reality, he was just high and left that computer with all his crimes. The guy also scammed him for $50.
So, with taxpayers' money, they are still fighting against us. We pay them money, not against us. Third, it is a complete reform of the judicial system.
Well, that's clear, yes. But he just went through it himself and saw this plenary. And suddenly, all the cases against him, all the students were closed. The very next day, just like that, bam. Our judiciary, our Themis, apparently, is not really paying attention.
And fourth, unlock the abuse of power. We are forming a truth-finding commission to fully declassify all documents on espionage and corruption. That is, there will practically be a lot of information. The same with Epstein. And they say that many who were involved in this story are already on planes. We see who, yes, because they are apparently singing in Russia that pedophilia is spirituality. It is allowed there. A full-scale campaign to expose the media conspiracy and fake news, creating lies and narratives undermining the security of the USA. And we will open a criminal case. Well, maybe even I will get a strike and my channel will come out of shadow banning, and I won't keep asking you to subscribe and like all the time. Turns out Euro already has 1 million.
They continue to hide. Well, I hope he will also break this monopoly. But these are huge. These people, these companies are not made of just a finger. They will, of course, resist, will put sticks in the wheels and spread disinformation, throw in everything else.
Sixth, the prosecutor's office is completely separated from the deep state so that they cannot protect themselves. Seventh, the creation of a permanent commission in Congress that makes espionage against U.S. citizens impossible.
Yes, because it is illegal. It is all in our Constitution. And when in 2016 he said that the FBI was watching him, that agents were embedded, we all laughed. How is that possible? Unconstitutional, illegal. Now we learn that whistleblowers have come forward, 2 women from the FBI, who say, yes, we were embedded, we were watching him. That is, we suspected nothing of him, but were engaged in phishing, trying to hook someone, so that they could, so to speak, accuse him of something, but there were no accusations. That is, you cannot be watched if you are not suspected of anything, waiting for you to commit something. But this is such Soviet egoism lurking around the corner, waiting for you to break the law. To be continued.
In traffic rules, if you haven't violated anything, they will just come out, stop you, and tell you that you violated something. Go argue about it. I really like the movement of deep state structures across the states, further from the Washington swamp, and 100,000 officials will be moved across the states to places where patriots love America. Is everything fair?
Do you want to serve America? You will serve where patriots live and serve there.
Of course. And as Elon Musk did with the former Twitter platform at that moment, he came in, fired 80% of the people, and it turns out that with 20%, you can be 100 times more successful than...
Everyone is subscribing to him more, and now we can at least speak freely.
He saved freedom of speech.
Therefore, we urge you once again, while they sort out our platforms, to switch to the X platform.
Because this platform, by the way, has grown by 45% during the election, period. The attendance statistics are already in first place in Europe, by the way, and there and in Asia, breaking all records. Given that all these state mass media, all these CNN communists are going down sharply, while Elon Musk is rising exponentially. And the next thing he will do in the future is a payment system, meaning you will be able to use the platform like a bank.
Yes, indeed, he did that. PayPal is also his thing.
He has already registered this process in many states, but the process is ongoing. Ninth, a ban on bureaucrats moving to the companies they regulated before. This is important.
This is indeed very important because, as we are aware, when Ambassador Marie Yovanovitch was in Ukraine, there was, in fact, an FBI representative who worked together with USAID and with Soros's companies, which were supposed to spread democracy in Ukraine. As soon as she resigned from the FBI, where did she get a huge position with a huge salary? At a Soros company. This needs to be stopped. If you are an official and you worked with some company, this is how it works in our armed forces. It's cool. You can't then go and just work for that company for 10 years or however long after you resign from public service.
This once again shows how these large corporations are intertwined with the government.
Yes, this is indeed collusion, yes. And you won't be able to break through them. They do everything to protect themselves, to engage in theft, bureaucracy, and corruption.
Yes. The 10th point is an amendment to the Constitution that limits the term of congressman.
This is what Trump tried to do the first time, and of course that's why he was hated by both the Republican and Democratic parties. How is that possible? I want to serve my people my whole life, like Biden did, 50 years. And Feinstein and Pelosi, and even our beloved Musk, who could only be carried out of Congress, feet first. That's why he wants to impose limits, just like presidents are limited. We have presidents too. It only changed at the end of World War II because of Roosevelt, because if he hadn't died, he would have been re-elected for the rest of his life. And Washington bequeathed that one can only serve 2 terms. One can be president of the United States for 2 terms. 2 terms, I mean, and that's why it will be a very big battle, because he is trying to introduce an amendment to the Constitution, and for that, Congress must vote, but Congress must vote against itself. You can only be a congressman or senator for a certain time. Sorry, either you move forward or you leave. The same goes for our armed forces. You can't be a commander forever, only for 2 years. You can be a company commander, battalion commander, army commander, ship commander, only for 2 years. Otherwise, you will spoil. And we need to give other people a chance too. Sitting in Congress or the Senate for a lifetime is not acceptable.
Well, in the future, yes. As a confirmation, if people want to elect a representative, it should at least be a businessman who has created jobs. In other words, he has created something. And if you went straight to schools, then you join the Komsomol. These are not people. These are sick individuals.
So what does he propose? He proposes to break up these monopolies, to dismantle the bureaucracy that has grown, just like in any socialist or communist party, the bureaucracy. The same thing? Basically, he literally takes this saw from Havermile.
Yes, it turns out that the first to take the saw was Nayib Bukele of El Salvador. In 3 years, he made it the best and safest country. And before that, it was the most chaotic country. Then he passed this saw to Havermile. And he already has, in a year, he made a budget surplus. That is, and by the way, when Elon Musk visited, when he was talking to Havermile, his chief economist, the Minister of Economy, was also there. And I think he gathered a lot of information about what Mile is already doing in Argentina. And this will probably be implemented here. Yes, and of course, I would definitely like such a saw to come to Ukraine.
Well, everything is gradual. Don't hold your breath. As we say now, fasten your seatbelts. The landing will be tough. Okay? Thank you, Oleg. If you have nothing else to say or anything else.
Well, I would like to urge people once again to subscribe and switch to the X platform because it is a very important platform and it will be the most powerful and stronger in the future than YouTube. And to keep an eye on Elon Musk because I think he may have an influence on the presidential election in the future. He will gladly pull the rug out from under BlackRock, which has its paws on Ukraine. So, BlackRock, hold on.
Yes, keep an eye on it. But also, without our help, without our participation, this will not happen. Thanks to Dr. Pritula for everything he does for caring not only about the physical health of people, but also about the health of the whole world. He is a real doctor, a real person who reminds me of my father. My father was also a quiet, smart, brave doctor who always put others far ahead of himself, much more important than himself.
In the future, as a doctor, I could also talk about Neuralink, Elon Musk's new company that will help our warriors.
Yes, any warriors. They will be able to see, they will be able to move.
A full life can be achieved because it works as an implant at the cortex level and plus these robots he is creating, Optimus, are ready-made prosthetics. And a person can transmit information almost telepathically rather than moving the prosthetics. Therefore, it is comfortable. That's why we are monitoring.
That's why the deep state wanted to destroy him, as it's unsuitable.
They only need wars. And it turns out that these communist various satellite states have indeed grown and clashed. Plus, this terrorist Putin only pits people against each other. He simply uses people. It's a pity.
Well, thank you, Thomas. Thank you, Oleg, very much. Please watch and leave your comments on what you think about this, what you think about these 10 points regarding the destruction of the deep state that President Trump has already created. And as we can see, he didn't celebrate for long, but immediately got to work. Stay in formation. The battle is just beginning. Therefore, we must unite even more strongly with each other.
But it is really becoming interesting.
Now we have an opportunity. Now we are not constantly on the defensive, although we will have to be. The leftist forces won't just back off. Well then, have a great weekend. Everyone, wonderful mood. Captain Yura, over.